In a small residential neighborhood on the outskirts of Columbus, Ohio, Emily Davis woke up every morning at 6:30. Her day revolved around her daughter Lily. 8-year-old Lily had big brown eyes like her mother and inherited her father's stubborn personality. "Lily, breakfast," Emily called from the bottom of the stairs. She could hear footsteps thundering from upstairs as Lily, still in her pajamas, came running down. "Good morning, Mama," Lily kissed her mother's cheek and sat down at the kitchen table. She clapped her little hands with joy when she saw the pancakes and bacon Emily had prepared. Her husband Michael worked as a construction foreman at a local construction company. His tanned face and muscular build were evidence of years of physical labor. He usually left the house at 5:30 in the morning to head to the job site, so it was rare for him to share breakfast with his family. This morning was no exception, and the quiet breakfast time continued with just Emily and Lily. "I have a math test today," Lily said while stuffing pancakes into her mouth. "I practiced with Daddy yesterday, so I'm sure I'll get a perfect score." Emily smiled and stroked her daughter's hair. Even when Michael was tired from work, he was a good father who helped Lily with her homework. 10 years into their marriage, their relationship wasn't passionate, but it was stable and comfortable. Do your best. But trying hard is more important than the score. Emily worked as a medical clerk at the local general hospital. She handled everything from patient reception to insurance procedures, but her salary wasn't very high. Even combined with Michael's income, their life was far from wealthy, and their monthly budget was like walking a tightrope. Still, Emily was grateful that the three of them could live together in this small house. The house was a typical suburban home built in the 1990s, a 2-story structure with white exterior walls and a distinctive blue roof. In the small front yard, Emily had planted a rose bush that bloomed beautifully in spring. All the neighbors were friendly, and several of Lily's classmates lived on the same street. "Mama, can I go play at Sarah's house after school today?" Lily asked while drinking her milk. "Check with Sarah's mother first. And don't forget to do your homework," Emily answered while packing school supplies into her daughter's bag. Lily's friendships were going well, and there were hardly any problems at school. Her teacher praised Lily as bright, cooperative, and hardworking in her studies. Emily and Lily left the house and walked to school. It was about a 15-minute walk to school, passing a small park and shopping district along the way. Lily always talked continuously about the little discoveries she made along the way. This morning she was enthusiastically explaining the yellow flowers blooming by the roadside. "I don't think those flowers are dandelions. The shape of the leaves is different." "You're right. Shall we look it up at the library next time?" Emily valued her daughter's curiosity. At the school gate, Emily kissed Lily's cheek and sent her off. "Have a good day. Good luck on your test." "I'm off, Mama. I love you." Lily turned around and waved, then disappeared through the school gate. Emily felt a small happiness every morning at this moment. Relief that her daughter had safely arrived at school and could begin her day. And this quiet morning time before she herself headed to work. Work at the hospital was sometimes difficult, but when patients and their families expressed gratitude, she felt it was worth continuing this job. Her relationships with colleagues were also good, especially with Jennifer, a nurse of her same age who had become a close friend. Jennifer was single and had no children, so she sometimes helped take care of Lily. In the evening, Emily would pick up Lily directly from the hospital, and they would shop for dinner together before going home. Michael usually came home around 7 o'clock, and dinner with the three of them was the most important time of the day. During meals, they would each talk about their day's events and make plans for the weekend. This ordinary, peaceful daily life was Emily's irreplaceable treasure. Even without big dreams or ambitions, she was satisfied with every day spent with her beloved husband and daughter. The following Monday morning, Emily woke up at 6:30 as usual. Weekend fatigue still lingered, but she immediately got out of bed to prepare Lily for school and make breakfast. Michael had already left for the job site, leaving only his coffee cup on the kitchen table. "Good morning, Mama," Lily came down the stairs rubbing her sleepy eyes. Monday mornings made everyone a bit melancholy, and 8-year-old children were no exception. "Good morning, sleepyhead. What class are you looking forward to today?" Emily asked while serving scrambled eggs on a plate. "Gym class. Dodgeball starts this week." Lily suddenly perked up and raised her small fist. "I absolutely won't lose." Emily smiled at her daughter's competitive spirit while buttering toast. Like Michael, Lily was a sore loser and had a personality that tackled everything with full effort. Sometimes she worried about how hard Lily tried, but she thought it was one of her daughter's charms. Mondays at the hospital were always busy. Many patients who had fallen ill over the weekend came in, and the reception was crowded from morning. Emily carefully attended to each person while checking patients' insurance cards and coordinating medical appointments. "Mrs. Davis, thank you for your hard work," her colleague Jennifer called out during lunch break. "It's especially busy today." "Really? But everyone's sick and anxious, so I want to be as kind as possible," Emily replied while eating her sandwich. Jennifer had over 10 years of experience as a nurse. She and Emily were close in age and had similar sincere attitudes toward work, so they naturally became close friends. "How's Lily? When I saw her last time, she had grown so tall." "Yes, she's already up to my chest." "She's growing up so fast," Emily laughed happily. "This Saturday, there's a spring recital at school. Lily is singing in the choir." Tuesday evening, after picking up Lily, Emily was supposed to help prepare for the recital in the school gymnasium. She helped arrange chairs and decorate the stage with other parents. "Mrs. Davis, thank you as always," her homeroom teacher, Mrs. Miller, called out. "Lily is really a hard worker. During choir practice, she sings with the loudest voice." "Thank you. She practices at home every day," Emily answered proudly. That night, when Michael came home, Lily excitedly talked about the recital. "Daddy, you absolutely have to come Saturday. I even have a solo part." "Of course I'll come. I'm looking forward to it," Michael answered while patting his daughter's head. However, to Emily, his expression seemed somehow absent-minded. She thought there might be some problem at work recently, but she chose not to ask. Wednesday morning, Lily looked a bit feverish. Emily put her hand on her forehead to check her temperature, but there was no fever. "Are you okay? Do you feel sick?" "My head hurts a little. But I'm going to school," Lily answered stubbornly. "Don't push yourself. If you feel sick during the day, go to the nurse's office right away." Emily sent Lily to school while worrying. Even during work, she was concerned about her daughter and called the school during lunch break. According to the school nurse, Lily had come for consultation once in the morning but was cheerfully attending classes after that. That evening when she went to pick up Lily, she had completely recovered. "Mama, sorry for worrying you. I felt better after eating lunch." "Good, I'm glad. But don't push yourself when you don't feel well," Emily said while embracing her daughter with relief. Thursday was a relatively calm day. Work at the hospital went smoothly, and there were no complaints from patients. In the evening, while shopping for groceries, Emily was thinking about the family trip planned for the weekend. It was about the camping trip to the state park that Michael had proposed last week. "How about going camping this weekend if the weather's nice?" Michael had said during Sunday dinner last week. Lily should experience outdoor activities too. Emily initially felt anxious about sleeping in a tent, but she reconsidered that sharing new experiences as a family was a wonderful idea. Lily was also delighted and had already started making a list of things to bring. "We're going to roast marshmallows over a campfire, right?" Lily had asked with sparkling eyes. "That's right. Daddy will teach you fishing too," Emily had answered. Thursday night, the three of them prepared for the trip together. Michael pulled old camping gear from the basement and checked the condition of the tent and sleeping bags. Emily made lists of food and daily necessities, and Lily packed her belongings into a suitcase. "Daddy, where are the fishing rods?" Lily asked. "They should be in the garage." "I'll check tomorrow night," Michael answered, but again his expression seemed to have something troubling about it. Emily had noticed that Michael had been looking at his cell phone a lot recently. He explained it was work calls, but it hadn't been so frequent before. She knew the construction industry was tough and the company's financial situation wasn't good, but she worried that perhaps he was under some major stress. Friday morning arrived. With the weekend camping trip ahead, the whole family was a bit excited. Lily finished breakfast quickly and checked multiple times to make sure everything needed was ready. "Bug spray." "We have it." "Flashlight." "We have too." "Marshmallows." "Of course." Emily smiled at her daughter's detailed checking while preparing lunch boxes. Since they planned to leave immediately after school, lunch would be the school meal, and she decided to bring sandwiches for dinner. "Mama, I'm really excited," Lily said while clinging to her mother's arm. "It's my first time camping with the family." "I'm excited too." "It will surely make wonderful memories," Emily answered while stroking her daughter's hair. Michael had already left for work, but he planned to return in the early afternoon to load luggage into the car. He also seemed to be looking forward to the family trip after a long time, having stayed up late the night before studying maps of the campground. "They say we can row boats on the lake too," he had explained to Emily. "Since it's Lily's first time, I'll ride with her at first." Emily felt her husband's kindness and love for his family anew. Certainly he seemed tired from work recently, but he was still trying to make time for his family. Friday morning, on the way to school, Lily was talking about next week's plans. After returning from camping, Mother's Day would be approaching. Lily was apparently making a Mother's Day present at school and was desperately trying to keep it secret. "Mama, next Sunday is a special day, right?" Lily smiled meaningfully. "Mother's Day." "But just having you is enough," Emily answered. "But there's a special surprise," Lily said happily. Monday morning, Emily woke up at 6:30 as usual. The weekend camping trip had become a wonderful memory, and Lily was still excitedly talking about the small fish she caught at the lake. Michael also seemed relaxed for the first time in a while and appeared to genuinely enjoy the family time. "Mama, I'm going to draw a picture of camping at school today," Lily said while eating breakfast pancakes. "I'm going to brag to everyone." "That's nice. But don't brag too much," Emily smiled while tying her daughter's hair. Michael had already left for the job site, leaving his newspaper and empty coffee cup on the kitchen table. Recently he often left early for work, and opportunities to share breakfast with the family had decreased, but Emily understood her husband's dedication to work. The construction industry was competitive, and projects often had tight deadlines. At 8:15, Emily and Lily left the house hand in hand. The May morning was refreshing, with colorful flowers blooming along the roadside. Lily continued talking about the small discoveries she made along the way as usual. "Mama, the dog at that house isn't there today," Lily pointed to a house they were passing. "Maybe it went for a walk," Emily answered. Along the way to school was a small park and shopping district. Lily loved this route and treasured the time walking with her mother every morning like a precious gem. Emily also cherished this quiet conversation time with her daughter. When the school gate came into view, Lily suddenly slowed her pace. Usually she would spot friends and run ahead, but this morning she somehow wouldn't leave her mother's side. "What's wrong? Did you forget something?" Emily asked worriedly. "No, it's not that," Lily answered while looking down. "Mama, today." "What?" Lily grabbed her mother's coat sleeve with her small hand. Emily felt that hand trembling slightly. It was unusual for her 8-year-old daughter to show such an anxious expression. "Mama, don't go home." Lily's words were almost whispered. Emily looked into her daughter's face. In Lily's big brown eyes was a serious expression that didn't match her age. "Why? Why would you say that?" Emily knelt down to be at the same eye level as her daughter. Lily looked around, making sure other children and parents weren't listening, then brought her face close to her mother's ear. "Daddy. What about Daddy?" Emily's heart began to race. Daddy was talking on the phone in the middle of the night. I could hear it from my room. He was talking in a scary voice. Lily's voice became even smaller. He said, "Tomorrow morning when she's not there." Emily tried to understand her daughter's words, but her mind was confused. Michael talking to someone on the phone in the middle of the night. And what did "when she's not there" mean? "Lily, when was this?" "Last night. The night we came back from camping," Lily answered with tears welling up. "Mama, I'm scared." Daddy's voice wasn't normal. Emily hugged her daughter. She felt Lily's small body trembling. An 8-year-old child had heard adult conversation and might be sensing some danger. But she still didn't understand what it meant. "It's okay, Lily. It was probably work talk. Daddy works at a construction site, so sometimes he has to have difficult conversations," Emily tried to reassure her daughter. "But, Mama, I also heard the words gas and wiring. And insurance too." Lily stared into her mother's eyes. "Mama, is something going to happen to our house?" Emily's blood ran cold. Gas, wiring, insurance. When these words were combined, she had an ominous feeling. However, she couldn't imagine her husband harming his family. Michael certainly seemed to be under stress recently, but he was a loving husband and father. "Lily, go to school. I'll clean around the house a bit and then go to the hospital." Emily tried to hide her agitation. "Mama, really don't go home. Please." Lily gripped her mother's coat even tighter. Emily looked at her daughter's desperate expression, and her uneasiness grew. Children's intuition is sometimes sharper than adults. Perhaps the danger Lily was sensing was real. "I understand. I'll observe the situation a bit before going home," Emily promised her daughter. Lily showed a relieved expression and hugged her mother tightly. "Mama, I love you. Be careful. I love you too. Be a good girl at school." After seeing Lily off at the school gate, Emily remained standing there. Her daughter's words kept repeating in her head. The midnight phone call, gas, wiring, insurance, and the ominous words, "when she's not there." There was a small cafe about a 5-minute walk from school. After hesitating, Emily decided to go there. From the cafe, she should be able to see what was happening at her house. "1 cup of coffee, please," Emily ordered while sitting at a window seat. From the cafe window, she could see their residential neighborhood well. She could even see their house with its white exterior walls and blue roof from here. Emily stared in the direction of her house while holding her coffee cup with both hands. Around 9 o'clock, a white van stopped in front of her house. Emily's heart began to race. 2 men got out of the van. One was wearing work clothes, and the other was in a suit. They were carrying some kind of toolbox and clearly came to do some kind of work. At that moment, Emily witnessed an unbelievable sight. The front door of her house opened, and Michael appeared. He was supposed to have gone to work. Michael talked with the 2 men and guided them into the house. Emily's hands began to shake. Lily's words were becoming reality. When she's not there, in other words, when she wasn't there, something was about to happen. The coffee had grown cold, but Emily didn't notice. Seeing the sight of her husband inviting unknown men into their house, her world changed in an instant. 10 years of marriage, the time they had loved each other, and the happy home they had built with their daughter. All of it was now being questioned at this moment. Emily gripped her cell phone and thought. Should she call the police? But her husband inviting someone to their house wasn't a crime. Nothing had happened yet. However, considering her daughter's warning and what was happening before her eyes, something terrible must be being planned. Emily held her breath at the cafe window and continued watching her house. The two men who had gotten out of the white van had disappeared into the house, guided by Michael. The clock showed 9:45. Her hands were shaking, and her fingertips gripping the cold coffee cup had turned white. About 10 minutes later, she saw the three men going around to the back of the house. Emily's heart was beating violently. She couldn't see what was being done in the backyard from this angle. However, just imagining what was in the toolboxes they had brought filled her with fear. Are you all right? A cafe employee asked with concern. You don't look well. Oh, yes. I'm fine, Emily answered hurriedly, but her voice was shaking. The men returned from the backyard into the house and this time headed toward what appeared to be the entrance to the basement. Emily's house had a small basement where the water heater and gas meter were installed. The word gas that Lily had heard came back to her mind. After a while, the three men came out of the house. The man in work clothes was carrying some kind of machine, and the man in the suit had documents in his hand. They talked with Michael in front of the entrance for several minutes, then shook hands. The scene looked as if some kind of contract had been completed. After the white van left, Michael returned to the house. Emily took out her cell phone and decided to try calling her husband. After several rings, Michael answered. Hello, Emily. What's wrong? His voice was as calm as always. However, to Emily it sounded like forced composure. Michael, where are you now? At the job site. The meeting for a new project is running long. I'll probably be late today. It was a lie. Emily knew for certain that her husband was at home. For the first time in 10 years of marriage, she was witnessing the moment her husband was lying to her. I see. Are you feeling all right? Of course. Don't overwork yourself at the hospital either. I love you. After the call ended, Emily was dazed. The words, I love you, now sounded hollow. Her husband was definitely hiding something. And it might involve the family's safety. Emily made up her mind. She needed to go home and check what had been done. However, Michael might still be at home. She decided to wait an hour. At noon, she saw Michael leave the house. He got in his car and seemed to really be heading to the job site. Emily waited about 10 minutes before leaving the cafe and heading home. When she reached the house, nothing seemed to have changed on the surface. However, when she opened the front door and went inside, there was a slightly different smell. A smell that mixed metal and gas. Emily carefully walked around inside the house. The living room was normal. The kitchen was unchanged too. However, when she went down to the basement, there were clearly traces that some kind of work had been done. There were new tool marks around the gas pipes, and metal fragments had fallen near the electrical panel. Emily's blood ran cold. This wasn't repair work. Something had been intentionally altered. She hurried back upstairs and decided to search Michael's study. On the study desk were documents she wasn't usually familiar with. Emily looked at them with trembling hands. They were life insurance documents. Moreover, Michael was listed as the beneficiary for everything. The insurance amount was $500,000. The documents signed in her name were definitely forged. The documents were dated last week. They had been created just before going on the camping trip. Emily felt like she might collapse. Everything had been planned. Her husband was planning her death and had been steadily preparing for it. When she opened the desk drawer, she discovered something even more terrifying. Gambling debt collection notices. The amount exceeded $200,000. There were notices dating back several months, and the latest one had a red stamp saying, "Final warning." In Emily's mind, Michael's recent behavior began to connect. Frequent cell phone use, midnight phone calls, his stressed expression. He had created massive gambling debts and was counting on his wife's life insurance money to pay them back. When she searched further, she also found the contract with the men who had come this morning. They called themselves accident processing specialists. When she read the contract contents, Emily's spine froze. It was about faking an accident caused by a gas leak and causing a house fire. It was a terrifying plan to kill Emily by making it look like an accident when she returned home from the hospital as usual. At the end of the contract was written, "Target's usual home arrival time, 5:30 p.m. Michael had thoroughly researched his wife's behavior patterns. This afternoon, when Emily returned from work, what would be waiting for her at home was a death trap. Emily checked the date on the contract with trembling hands. It was today. In a few hours, the plan was scheduled to be executed, waiting for her to come home. If Lily hadn't warned her, she would have walked unknowingly into the death trap. She took out her cell phone and called 911. "My husband is trying to kill me." Emily gave the address and explained the situation. She talked in detail about the gambling debts, the forged life insurance documents, and the gas pipe tampering that had been done this morning. The operator listened to her story seriously and promised to immediately dispatch patrol cars and a bomb disposal unit. "Leave that house right now. There's a possibility that gas-related tampering has been done," the operator warned. Emily quickly left the house and evacuated to a safe place in the neighborhood. 10 minutes later, patrol cars, fire trucks, and bomb disposal unit vehicles arrived. Specialists entered the house and examined the gas pipes in the basement. 30 minutes later, a police officer came to Emily. "Ma'am, your testimony was correct. The gas pipes had been tampered with, and a timer device had been installed. It was set to activate at 5:40 p.m. Emily couldn't stop crying. Without Lily's warning, she would have certainly died. Her 8-year-old daughter's pure intuition had saved her mother's life. That evening, when Michael returned from the job site, police were waiting in front of the house. He was arrested on charges of attempted murder and insurance fraud. Also arrested were the 2 men who had come in the morning. They were associates of Michael's creditors who had taken on accident processing in place of the debt. Emily underwent questioning at the police station while reflecting on the 10 years of married life. The man she believed she loved had actually been targeting her life. Was everything she thought was family happiness all false? However, there was one thing that was certain. Her bond with Lily was real. Her daughter's love and courage had saved her mother from death. 6 months later, judgment was handed down in a Columbus, Ohio courtroom. Michael Davis received a 15-year sentence for attempted murder and insurance fraud. The 2 accomplices were each sentenced to 10 to 12 years. Emily sat in the courtroom gallery watching the man she once loved being led away in handcuffs. Rather than sadness, she felt more of a sense of liberation. After the verdict, Emily left the courtroom with her lawyer. Lily was waiting in the hallway. Her daughter, now 9 years old, had grown remarkably during these 6 months. The incident had been explained to her age appropriately, but Lily understood the situation better than her mother had thought. "Mama, it's really over now, isn't it?" Lily said while holding her mother's hand. "Yes, it's over. And it's also the beginning of our new start," Emily hugged her daughter. After the incident, Emily sold the house. She couldn't start a new life with Lily in a place filled with so many terrible memories. They now live in a small apartment near downtown Columbus. They have only the minimum furniture, but there is certain safety and peace there. "Are you not scared of Daddy anymore?" Emily asked her daughter. "No. Daddy is far away now. Besides, I have Mama, Lily smiled. That's enough. Tears welled up in Emily's eyes. She was moved again by her daughter's strength and purity. That terrible night, the content of the phone call Lily had heard from her father was actually more detailed. Michael hadn't just been talking to debt collectors, but had also had a conversation saying, "Don't do anything to the daughter. The wife alone is enough." Lily had understood that her mother was in danger and, in her 8-year-old way, had tried to protect her mother. She continued working at the hospital. Jennifer and many others supported Emily. The incident was also reported in the local newspaper, and hospital staff and patients offered warm words. "I was moved by your courage," an elderly female patient said. "Your daughter is really a smart child too. Do your best together." Financially, things were difficult. Michael's income was gone, and legal fees were expensive. However, she was able to change the life insurance beneficiary and secure education funds for her daughter's future. She also received assistance from victim support organizations and regularly received counseling. One evening, Emily and Lily were walking in a nearby park. The sunset was beautiful, and they sat on a bench looking up at the sky together. "Mama, what is a real family?" Lily suddenly asked. Emily thought for a moment before answering. "A real family is people who protect each other. Even if there's blood relation, if there's no love, it's not family. But if there's love and feelings of caring for each other, that's family. Then we're a real family." Lily snuggled up to her mother. "That's right. We're the best family." That night, after Lily fell asleep in bed, Emily sat alone in the living room. Looking back on these 6 months, it had been a series of fear and confusion. However, she had also discovered her own strength. She learned that she had the power to protect her daughter alone and build a new life. Outside the window, the night view of the new city spread out. Freed from past nightmares, she had become able to hold hope for the future. She had lost much in her married life with Michael, but she was able to protect the most important thing, her bond with her daughter. The next morning, Emily woke up at 6:30 as usual. She would send Lily to school and head to work at the hospital. It was a new daily routine, but this time it was truly safe days filled with love, without lies or secrets. "Good morning, Mama," Lily came down the stairs. "Let's go to the library today. I want to borrow a new book." "That sounds good. What kind of book do you want to borrow?" "A book written about families. I want to read stories about strong mothers and daughters like us." Emily smiled. Her daughter had really grown. And their story was just truly beginning now. When they left the house hand in hand, Emily felt peace from the bottom of her heart. A real family was people who protected each other and loved each other. She and Lily were exactly that kind of family.